All right, our number 2 safety in college football, probably number 1 on a lot of other people's list, Dalton, but it is Malaki Starks from Georgia, who's been a stud for them for 2 years now.
Yeah, and he had a solid freshman year and a really, really big jump in his sophomore year, an 81.1 overall grade. And I think the big thing with Starks is you watch his game, it's kind of like we talked about with Kevin Winston a little bit, where just a really clean profile, right? Best run defense grade of any SEC safety, best tackling grade of any SEC safety, led the SEC with 7 pass breakups. He just does a little bit of everything really, really well. And it's why a lot of people have him right now as like a top 10 prospect overall in the 2025 class, because it's so clean. And I think a theme with some of these top safeties that we've had is that they just do a little bit of everything really, really well. They're really fundamentally sound. Starks, he's another one where it's hard to envision him having some sort of crash and burn year, because it's just so fundamentally sound. The tackling, the angles he takes in run defense, coverage, he's had 3 interceptions. Also, like, he just kind of has it all. He's one of those modern versatile safeties that can do everything.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He was a super highly rated recruit coming out of high school, top 10 recruit. Actually led Georgia with 847 snaps as a true freshman in 2022 when they won the national championship. So really relied on as a true freshman. And he had 8 combined interceptions and forced incompletions that year, which were tied for 5th in the SEC as just a true freshman. 84.8 run defense grade this past year, 7th in the Power 5, tied for 6th in the Power 5 as well with 7 forced incompletions. Really good athlete, around an 86th percentile athlete in our GAS score. Really amazing run defender, really sound tackler as well, consistently makes plays in coverage. Like you mentioned, Matt, he's just an all-around stud for the Bulldogs and is currently the heavy favorite to be the first safety off the board in the 2025 NFL Draft, and should be a first-round pick in 2025 NFL Draft as well. What are some of the negatives, though, Dalton, that you saw with Starks' game?
I think the only thing I really saw, so you've got a 78.3 coverage grade, which is obviously very good. Not elite, but very good. There's just times still especially in zone coverage, when his vision, he can kind of get a little bit of tunnel vision and locked into, like, let's say there's a high-low concept and he kind of gets locked in on the lower part of it and takes a false step, or takes a false step towards a double move if he's in single coverage. Like, certain times, like, just his field vision is closer to a B than an A, I would say right now, when it comes to, like, if teams are attacking him specifically with certain concepts, there can be some false steps he takes in coverage, and then he gets beat by a step, and he's fast enough to recover for sure. He's an 86th percentile athlete last year, but sometimes you don't want to recover, especially as a safety. You don't want to take that chance, especially if you get to NFL guys, and even the SEC's got plenty of NFL level guys, right? If they're playing at Texas, if you're playing an Isaiah Bond and you take a false step, you have a problem, right?
Yeah.
But that's the one thing I see, just a little bit better, like, peripheral vision in coverage, which sometimes can be hard to quantify, and even especially times if you get a bad throw and it doesn't go against his yardage and things like that. Here and there, there'll be a mistake here and there. It's not like the biggest problem ever. He's still really good. There's just another step to take, I think, in coverage, and his awareness in zone coverage especially.
Yeah, I think when I noticed for him, he plays mostly as a free safety for Georgia. He actually looked really good in the slot when he was given an opportunity there for the Bulldogs. Free safety, some of the negatives in his game, the very few, because again, like Kevin Winston Jr. from Penn State, there's very, very few negatives, but a lot of happened when he was at free safety, and I think that goes into your point a little bit, like false steps in coverage. I think I noticed a little bit too when he was out there. So as a free safety, there's some stuff to clean up, but I really think Georgia should be using him more in the slot this year. I think it could be really interesting wrinkle they could throw into their defense. But, man, it's hard finding negatives for Malaki Starks, man, because he was such a clean player all around, and it's basically why he's going to be probably a top 15 to 20 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft right now. So not our number 1 safety in the country, but right now the number 1 safety for next year's draft is Malaki Starks out of Georgia.